Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So let me start with the question. When was the last time you thought I should probably raise my fees, but what if my clients can't afford it? And if you have ever had that thought, this video is for you. Because the truth is that almost every therapist undercharges. Not because they don't deserve more, but because money feels emotionally charged. We entered this profession to help, to relieve suffering, to create safety, and not to negotiate numbers. But here is the hidden trap. When you keep your prices too low out of fear of losing clients, you start losing something else, instead your energy, your motivation, and your presence. So low fees don't just hurt your bank account. They slowly drain your capacity to give your best work as well. And you start feeling resentful, tired, maybe even questioning if private practice is sustainable during the long run. And what's ironic about this is that clients often value less what comes too cheaply. They can sell more easily, engage less deeply, and subconsciously sense the lack of confidence behind the price. So this isn't really a money problem. It's a boundary problem. And boundaries, as we have seen in other videos, are not walls. They are just structures that protect your ability to serve well your clients. So today, I will show you how to raise your prices without losing clients, and more importantly, how to stop feeling guilty for valuing your own work. Because the moment you align your pricing with your real value, everything will change. And you show up differently, clients respond differently, and your practice finally starts to feel sustainable again. So let's go a bit deeper about the real cost of undercharging. Most therapists think that keeping prices low is an act of generosity, but it feels like the compassionate choice. If I make therapy affordable, more people can get help. But what actually happens over time is the opposite. And when your price doesn't reflect your real value, you start paying the difference in energy, time, and emotional load. You work longer hours, you say yes to clients who drain you accept cancellations you shouldn't, and you squeeze in more sessions because you don't want to disappoint. So little by little, your work starts costing you more than it gives back. And undercharging doesn't just affect your income, it affects your presence in the session as well. So a tired, overbooked, financially anxious therapist cannot offer the same depth of presence as someone who feels safe and resourced in his life. So think about it. When you are worrying about paying rent or about another no-show, part of your mental space is gone. And it's not your fault, it's just math and psychology. You can pour from an empty cup, and clients feel it. They may not consciously notice, but they sense the subtle tension, the exhaustion, and the micro hesitation when you suggest deeper work. So now let's flip the perspective for a moment. Imagine seeking a colleague who charges twice your rate. You might think that's too excessive, but you also wonder what makes their work worth that. And that curiosity is what healthy clients feel too. And a fair, confident price communicates safety, professionalism, and trust. So undercharging doesn't only harm you, it subtly harms the client's results as well. And because price shapes perception and perception shapes engagement. So when clients invest more, they show up more committed, more consistent, and more ready to change their life as well. So that's why raising your fees when done ethically is not selfish. It's a service decision, and it projects your capacity to keep doing this work for years instead of burning out after a few. So the question isn't, can I afford to raise my prices? But it is, can I afford not to raise my prices? So now let's talk about the pricing fear psychology. Because behind that mindset about not raising prices, there are many fears. So when most therapists think about raising their fees, they don't freeze because of numbers, but they freeze because of fear. And there are three specific fears that keep almost every practitioner stuck: rejection, guilt, and loss of connection. So the first fear is rejection. What if people say no? What if they leave? This fear touches something primal, the fear of being abandoned. And for many of us, helping others has become part of our identity. So when a client leaves because of price, it feels personal, almost like being rejected as a person and not as a professional. But the truth is that clients aren't rejecting you, they are just making a financial choice. And when one leaves, it simply makes space for someone ready to meet you at your new level of value. The second fear is also a big one, and it's guilt. And this is the voice that says, who am I to charge more when people are struggling? But notice how that guilt often comes from a confusion between compassion and sacrifice. Compassion says, I care about people's pain, and sacrifice says, I must suffer to prove I care. And those are not the same thing. Because when you price fairly, you are not taking from clients, you are just ensuring you can continue helping them with full presence year after year. The third fear is the loss of connection, and many therapists worry if I charge more, my clients will see me as a less relatable and more distant therapist. But again, the opposite often happens. And when you own your worth, clients trust you more. They feel your groundedness and then sense that you are someone who values yourself and therefore can hold their own values too. And that's leadership energy. So the moment you name these fears, they start to lose power because awareness turns emotion into choice, and self awareness is the first step to change your life. So before changing your price, take one honest moment to ask which of these fears speaks loudest in me: rejection, guilt, or loss of connection. Just noticing it is the first step toward freedom because you can change your values sustainably until you change the story underneath them. Now that we have uncovered the fears, let's shift perspective with the value alignment reframe. Most therapists see pricing as a question of money, but it's actually a question of alignment. And when your price reflects your true value, your practice feels clear, light, and fair. And when it doesn't, everything feels slightly off, even if you can't explain why. So here is the powerful reframe I want you to remember. You don't charge for your time, but you charge for the transformation you enable. So think about it. A 50-minute session isn't just 50 minutes. It's years of study, emotional labor, and the invisible mental energy that continues long after the call ends. So it's the safe space you have built, the insights you bring, and the subtle attunement that changes someone's life trajectory. So you are not selling hours, you are just holding transformation. And transformation has value, deep, ethical, and human value. So when you see it that way, pricing stops being a question of how much can I charge and becomes what price allows me to serve at my highest level without resentment or depletion. Because here is the paradox. The more fairly you are compensated, the more generous you can be. You can invest in your learning, rest without guilt, and show up with genuine presence. And that's what clients truly pay for a therapist who's resourced, grounded, and fully available. And you don't have to justify it with fancy degrees or endless explanations. You just have to embody it. When you believe your value, your clients will too. And so next time you feel hesitation about raising your fees, remind yourself this isn't about greed, it's just about alignment. Because when your prices and your purpose finally align, everything starts to flow: your energy, your sessions, your results, and yes, your income too as well. So let's make this practical now that your mindset is aligned and ask yourself, how do you actually raise your prices without losing clients or feeling like you are betraying your values? And here is a simple 5-step path you can follow. Step 1 is to decide your new aligned price. Start by asking, what amount allows me to feel calm, focused, and fully present in each session? And that number is usually slightly uncomfortable, and that's okay, because growth always feels like that. So pick a number that honors both your expertise and your well-being as well. Step 2 is to test it in a safe place. So before announcing anything, speak it aloud. Practice saying your new price to a mirror, a trusted colleague, or even in a journal. Notice what emotions come up. Guilt, pride, fear, another one? Just name them. And then when it feels grounded, test it with 1 or 2 low-risk clients or new inquiries and see how it lands. And you will be surprised by how normal it sounds once you believe it. Step 3 is to communicate with compassion and clarity. So when informing existing clients, keep it short, warm, and transparent. For example, from next month, my session fee will increase to X euros. This allows me to maintain the quality and sustainability of my work. I understand if this change doesn't fit everyone's situation, please let me know if you would like to discuss options. So you are not apologizing here, you are just informing with care. And most clients will respect it far more than you think. Step 4 is to introduce gradually if needed. So if raising prices for everyone at once feels too abrupt, you can phase it in. Start with new clients or set a transition period for existing ones. And what matters most is consistency. Your boundaries stay clear and your message stays steady. Step 5 is to anchor your price in added clarity and not added work. So many therapists will think, I will raise my fee once I add something extra. But the truth is that clients value clarity more than extras. So show what they gain through your improved access, sharper focus, or new specialization, not through more hours or effort. And you don't need to work more to earn more, you just need to stand taller in your value. So when done this way, raising your fees becomes an act of service and not selfishness. You are just modeling healthy boundaries, sustainability, and self-respect, which are lessons your clients need too. So let's finish this video with the CEO Friday tip. Every Friday, remind yourself of this simple truth. Your price isn't a number, it's just a boundary. And it protects your time, your focus, and the quality of care you offer. It allows you to rest without guilt and to show up fully for each client and to build a practice that lasts. Running a private practice means wearing 2 hats, the therapist one and the CEO one. And the CEO in you must sometimes make decisions that the helper in you finds uncomfortable. And that's okay because that's growth. So when you raise your price, you are not just breaking connection, you are just strengthening structure. You are building a business that supports both your clients and your own well-being. So take 1 minute this Friday, look at your calendar, your energy, your prices, and ask yourself, does this still reflect the value I bring? And if not, it's time to realign yourself. So, as always, if this topic resonates with you, if you have ever felt torn between wanting to help and needing to raise your prices, then you will love what I am building inside Therapist Café. So, Therapist Café is a free community group in school where therapists and coaches will share honest conversations about practice growth, boundaries, and ethical business. So, no judgment, no self pressure, just grounded support and practical tools. So if you are ready to grow your practice without guilt and burnout, then join us. And the link will be in the description video. So I hope that you like this video. You can put a like, follow me, and see each other for the next video.